just saying if you cut your hair, that's not changing your nature.
Is it not? You're
No,
literally
it's not. You're
changing
still
properties of
ontologically-
yourself.
Yeah, it's not anatomically.
It's
changed.
not.
I
Okay.
try-
So
Wait,
do you
guys,
guys
one at a
believe?
time, one at a
Do you
time.
guys
Go ahead.
believe that what is it? Getting any type of surgery whatsoever, those
that's
people
not
are
like
sinning.
Elective surgery is not changing your nature.
You are
your
literally
dick off or
you're
taking
literally
your-
increasing your breast size or reducing it or
But you're
changing your
not-
physical appearance.
If we took a
But
cat,
you're
if
taking
we took a
testosterone,
cat and we
but-
gave a cat breast implants, is it now not a cat?
you're
Yeah,
changing
exactly.
its nature. You're
No,
changing
you're
how
not
it
changing its
feels.
nature. It's still a cat.
So
It's
you're
just
saying
you're
cats
changing
naturally
its-
have breasts?
Probably.
No,
Like,
what are you talking about?
Cats do have breasts.
Guys, one at a time.
You're
One at
changing-
a time,
You're
please.
changing its appearance.
An important question would be, say you take a cat and then you apply enough surgeries that it has a dog tail, dog ears, and then it starts barking all the time. Are you still going to call it a cat?
Yes.
That's the actual question that we're dealing with.
Yeah, I'd call it
now,
a cat.
some people
I'd
would
say
still
cat.
call it a cat, right?
Because that's
I call it a
nature.
mutant.
The issue is that the issue is that
butchered animal.
the issue that we're running to is if you define gender as essentially the performance, right? If you separate gender and sex, although I would argue gender is obviously downstream of sex, but if you treat them as separate words, then the question is, why do we, like, if you're going to say gender and sex are the same thing, why do we have two words?
I mean,
what's the purpose?
can I add something?
Well, let's go around the table to give everybody an opportunity to answer the initial question, what is a woman? And then if you want to add any additional, go ahead.
Oh, I mean, what I was gonna say is, I just feel like with that argument, like obviously not every person is gonna, agree with certain things or understand why people are trans. For me, I feel like the main core thing is if we know that their life expectancies are in their like 26, 27, 28, because for me, it's more of like whether or not you understand it. It isn't hard to respect somebody.
So hold people emotionally hostage.
What part
I mean,
of that is
I-
holding
I
someone?
don't
Well,
think it's
because
really-
if you say, I will remove myself from the equation if you don't do this thing I want, you're holding people emotionally
I
hostage.
mean, also, I feel like if you're not passing and someone accidentally calls you the wrong pronoun, like, yes, you're being like, you shouldn't blow up on people for things like that. But if like you, if you're vindictively doing it,
Yeah.
that's a different thing.
yeah,
You know
but
what I
isn't
mean?
an emotional hostage taking to say, do this thing or else I'll hurt myself?
No,
I don't think any trans person is saying if you do
Well,
not.
then why would the argument come up then?
No, but
where
see,
she
no,
says
there's
the
hold
reason
on.
we
There are-
ought to do this
there
is
are
because these
absolutely-
people could hurt themselves.
Yeah, there are absolutely transgender people who are saying, if you don't do this, I'm going to kill myself, right? And that's not
Can we
Can't
avoid,
But here's
can
the
we
thing,
avoid,
though.
like,
I
say
think
delete?
I don't like-
no,
no,
can't say
other
not
words,
to.
Can you say
other words
delete
can't use.
yourself?
Sorry.
But I also think
That's why I'm
like
careful
if
with-
someone, you can not agree or agree with something, but then like if someone came up to you and like said like to, you know, like respect them or whatever, I think that should be respected. But I also think like everyone has their own opinions and you believe in what you believe in, but then if you're like purposely like attacking somebody for what they believe in, then I think that's a little like, okay, like you shouldn't be doing that. But then at the same time, like everyone also believes in what they believe in. But when it comes to like a woman and or when it comes to transgender and like pronouns, like I saw this TikTok where it was like, okay, like if I told you, oh well, I need to be called beautiful and I need to be called smart, and if you don't call me that, then you're basically like, you know, you're wrong, because it's like, isn't it really the same thing?
Or if they
Like,
say
wait,
that
you
they'll
asked
hurt
me.
themselves
Yeah.
if you don't. If
What's
you
a
do
cup?
that,
I mean,
Define for me a cup or a sandwich. What's a cup or a sandwich?
a cup.
What is
You-
what is a sandwich?
Something a woman
sandwich.
makes.
it's just the-
That's a joke, come on.
But that means curry is also
I
a
make some
sandwich.
good sandwiches
so
though.
this is the chair argument,
Joe,
right?
come
It
on.
is the
little
chair
levity,
Yeah,
guys.
so you can never define completely what a chair
No,
is.
actually, that's not what I'm trying to say at all. I'm trying to say that we tend to define things in functional ways. That's the way that we use language, right? So, like, when we go, like, into, like, what's a soup? Is a smoothie a soup? It's in part a stupid fucking question because nobody cares.
Yeah, but-
what we do is we act like smoothies aren't really soup, even though they kind of are in almost every single way, but they're not real. Like, nobody treats them like they're soup. So why we don't call smoothies soup. And so this is a way where I'm breaking out to, like, I wouldn't say that a trans person is a female. I wouldn't really be willing to confer those medical terms to them. But when it comes to woman, it's necessarily evolved as a word of functionality. And so it's like, it's really weird if you have Megan Fox, but she has a dick, for me to be like, oh, it's still a man. It's like,
I think that that's less weird. So definitions also have defining ends. They have support for what the definition's supposed to be. So we can look at words and then we can look at the words that support those words. What's the
Like the
word that
etymology.
supports the word of woman? It's female.
It's not.
It is. It's always
not.
been. When is it never? When is it not been?
Like, to go back to what we were talking about earlier, I do think the logic of, well, we're all sinners as a reason to sin doesn't really make too much sense, because like to just to know you're going to continue sinning when you go and you confess or ask for forgiveness. When you're asking for forgiveness, like, is it asking for forgiveness or is it manipulation? If I tell you, I'm sorry, let's say, for a relationship example, I'm sorry I cheated on you, I'm not going to cheat on you again, and then cheat 2 days later. Were you ever truly sorry?
Do you want
Did
like the liturgical
yeah.
answer? Like Catholicism, for example, would
And-
say, no, you're not actually sorry. Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like different religions and different sectors of Christianity might define it differently. But I feel like I grew up, I was like altar serving, waited till marriage in high school. And for me, the moment where I kind of had to step away from it is if this is true, and if I believe in a Christian God that could literally damn me to eternal fire for this, this is the most important thing in the world. So it's either I live by it or I don't believe in it at all, because it's kind of odd to believe in something like that and then cherry pick it.
So did you
I
just
believe
decide
it.
to not live by it?
I mean, I could go into depth of what I believe. I feel like I couldn't trust the same church that was sending out millions of dollars of hush money, touching kids, taking gospels out the Bible. Most Christians don't even know about Mary Magdalene. Like, certain things aren't really talked about, which makes me feel like I don't trust the church as much as I do believe in God, but I wouldn't say I believe in a
This
standard
one didn't
Christian
trigger,
God.
but okay.
talk to us
Here,
about Toyota.
going around the table, what is a woman? I think you answered,
I
correct?
answered.
What about you?
I don't really know how to answer that.
It's okay. You can. It's okay. We believe
A
in you.
woman is someone who is feminine,
Oh.
and that doesn't mean that, you know.
So
But
there's a trans woman who's like looks like Megan Fox, a woman. If Megan Fox has a dick, is she
No.
a woman? But she looks like a woman, and she's
that's
super
she's
feminine.
not a woman.
Okay, so you don't think women are people who are
well,
feminine?
that's what I was about to say, but I don't think. That's why I don't really
She doesn't
know
want
how
to
to
get
answer
canceled.
that.
She doesn't want to get canceled.
You want
uh,
XX chromosomes in a vagina,
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
except for hermaphrodites. You're not really sure about that.
Well, I was gonna actually ask if, let's say, like, going back to that, if Megan Fox had a dick,
Oh.
would you allow her to compete in women's sport?
Do you want to open the sports conversation, because it's super different than like
That's
a,
very- yeah,
a
it's-
definitional
Here, how about we
conversation.
get,
'Cause they
get
wouldn't-
around
they
the
wouldn't align.
table? We can get to the sports thing. We'll get around the table just after this.
Nabu donated $200.
Yeah, thank you, man.
I'm sick of the argument that because there are two
Thank you,
separate
Nasha.
words, they must be different. What the diff between glad, happy, good? We all learned a word in elementary to describe this. Oh yeah, synonyms, idiot.
Okay. Huh? That's really stupid. Okay.
What if definition? Jeez, I can't say this word. Can anybody help me?
Definitionally?
Definition. Thank you. English is my second language. So.
That's okay. Coyote's your first, right?
Yes. What if definitionally a cohort of people think that or believe that the word woman refers to a female and the word man refers to males?
Yeah. I mean, this is the issue with definition arguments. Is
Right.
like the way that societies come to definitions is super different. This is why when people like etymologically, it doesn't mean that, nobody fucking cares, because that's not how we treat words unless they're like clinical medical words. And we got rid of all of these words from being clinical medical for the most part. So if society as a group decides that a woman is a woman with two X chromosomes exclusively, then everyone's going to function like that way. The problem is that it's still not very functional in a society if you've got Megan Fox walking around hiding her dick super well, because you're definitely not testing for people's vaginas and X chromosomes when you're just looking around.
Yeah,
This is why
yeah.
gender's more of a performance and sex is a medical
No,
term.
it is actually
Oh, that is
useful.
true.
So here's the truth. The truth is that society didn't have any problems with this. Society's never had any problems with this. Nobody was ever confused about who was a man and who was a woman. Ever. It never came up. Ever. It never came up. Yeah,
This
it is
is
true.
true.
There is so
come-
much
Did I
historical
just let you talk
examples,
the
like
whole
Roman
time? I didn't say
Yeah, just-
anything.
just
let him talk. Let
So,
him talk.
so look, we really didn't have this problem. It was not a problem. You go back and read books in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. They're not talking about this. You read books from the 1800s. Not talking. They don't care. Okay, it was not a problem inside of society. To know who was a female and who was a male, never been a problem. What has happened is special interest groups have moved in to the social sciences and have begun to fund studies and have begun to push an agenda in order to make this definition now get pushed out into the ethos. And like Kyla,
That's okay.
like Not So Erudite
Kyla
just said,
works.
right? What happens is in the sociological fields, they've already begun changing all of the definitions there, trying to get it to get changed out into the ethos, into the commons. But you know what? We really shouldn't have done that, and they don't have the authority to make that choice for other people.
So you and I could probably circle jerk about how shit sociology is all day, because
Hold on.
Modest
just one second.
Hikima donated $200. Why do women mark female on government forms? There was a turning point recently where gender and biology combined again. Stop acting like I need to partake in and confirm people's fetishes, SMH.
Yeah, that's the other thing is autogynephilia.